Hello. I am James, and I live in Manchester in the UK. And you're listening to English with a Brew, a podcast where I talk about different day-to-day topics to help you learn English the most natural way possible. And that is only by listening to it. And if you want to support this podcast, read transcripts, and get exclusive access to more episodes, go to patreon.com/English with a Brew. As we say in Manchester, get a brew on, and let's get started. Hi everyone, how are you doing? For this episode, I'm going to be talking about something a little more abstract, something more complicated or conceptual. But hopefully, it is a good example to show you your progress, to prove how much English you actually understand, and to show you that you can actually talk about quite complex topics even when you don't think you can. So I'm going to talk about how to have a goal and how to achieve it. A goal is any type of objective that you create for yourself. For example, my goal for this year was to start to learn a language. But what is the best way to achieve a goal? Well, the first step is to make sure that your goal is measurable. That means that you create a goal that is possible to measure, so you know when you have completed it and you can follow your progress. For example, I can't learn a whole language in just 1 year. You can't know everything there is to know. So my goal was not to learn a language, but instead to have a conversation in Spanish this year. It's a clear goal, and it's easy to know when I have achieved it. The next step is to divide your big goal, your objective, into smaller goals that are more achievable, more manageable. In my case, I said to myself that I would listen to something in Spanish for at least 1 hour every day. And I knew that if I studied Spanish for 1 hour every day, I would gradually improve little by little until I could understand a conversation. So I focused my attention on the smaller goals instead of the big one. The next step is to create a plan to make sure you do the actions or you take the steps that combine to achieve your goal. You need some kind of method or system to make sure that you do it, that you practice so you can improve. In English, we have an expression to describe this, to hold yourself accountable, which means to make sure that you do something, that you can't avoid it. You could use your phone so that it tells you at the same time every day to practice, study, or work towards your goal. You could create a physical poster, for example, and put it on your walls so that you see it every day. For my Spanish, I use an application to monitor my progress every day. And I can see how many days I have studied and how many days I have missed. So, in summary, these are some steps you can take to make sure you achieve your goals. You need to make sure your goal is measurable so that you know when you have achieved it. You can divide one big goal into smaller steps that you can take every day. And you need to create a plan to hold yourself accountable. And finally, one more step, I think it's incredibly important to have a way to celebrate, to do something special when you have achieved your goal. And I believe that that's important for two reasons. The first is to give you the motivation to continue. And the second reason is because, well, you deserve it. When you achieve your goal, it's very important, it's crucial that you have a moment to celebrate all your progress and your achievements. Because if you don't, sometimes it's too easy to forget all the hard work you did, all of the commitment and all of the effort you made. In English, we have a short, simple expression that we say when someone achieves something spectacular, or even something small that they can feel proud of. And that expression is well done. So if one of your goals was to learn English, even if you didn't know it, and you understand the majority of this podcast, then I say to you, well done. Because that is a huge achievement and you have achieved your goal. So as always, take care. And that's everything for today's episode of English with a Brew. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you did or if you didn't, and tell me which topics you'd like to hear me talk about in future episodes. And don't forget, you can read the transcript for this episode and get access to more exclusive content over on my Patreon page. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is where you are right now. Take care.